How did you enjoy the ECCYC this weekend?
I thought it was very fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you benefit?
I benefited.
It's good, it's good. Tina, how did you enjoy ECCYC?
I loved it. It was very fun and very entertaining.
Good, good, that's great.
I enjoyed it very much.
Good, what was your favorite part?
The food was great.
Tell them how ECCYC was.
I met a lot of new people. I met Tony for the first time on this retreat. We made a lot of new friends, thank God. And we had great company with Emma Thomas and all the priests. We had a great time.
I loved ECCYC. I just met Tony for the first time. He's great.
What was your favorite part of it?
The workshops were really good. You got to meet everyone and really get deep with everything. So
Cool, good.
What is love? I got like really shaken. I said, what is this? What is love? Can you help me to define love? I don't know how to say. What is love? So I don't know. So I just want you to help me first to define love. What is love? Someone will just like tell me something? Yes?
A strong feeling that you feel towards others.
A strong feeling
Yes.
to
Like a positive feeling that you feel towards others.
towards others. Yes? Someone else? A strong feelings towards others. Yes.
Dedication and sacrifice. Dedication and sacrifice.
Dedication and sacrifice. Someone else? Is that all? Yes.
God.
Huh?
God.
God. Great. Not me. Yeah, you.
When you care about someone.
When you care about someone. Yes?
Jesus dying on the cross. Jesus dying on the cross.
Jesus dying on the cross.
It's when you really like, when you love someone, you care about them so much and you just want to do everything.
Yes, you care about them and you can do everything for them. What? Yes.
Being faithful towards them.
Being faithful towards them. Yes.
Like helping someone go closer to God.
Helping someone to get closer to God.
Care.
Caring.
An intense feeling of deep affection.
That's the dictionary. Yes. Say it again.
An intense feeling of great affection.
Intense feeling of great affections. That's great. Someone else would say something? Yes?
When someone else's happiness means more to you than your own.
Good. Yes?
When you take the time out of your life to actually worry and care for someone.
When you take the time and worry about someone. Love and worry. Yes, great. Actually, I'm asking you because I don't know. You see what? So I'm trying to collect all these informations about love. And all is perfectly fine. All what you said is exactly fine. And all is visible, it's okay. But do we really understand the fullness of that love, of that meaning? If I come and tell you what is the taste of water, then everybody will say something different. But then, at the end of the day, the water is water, as love is love. But how do you understand this love? Because everyone here, just like between caring and worrying and doing something about the others, great intense affections, and it's a lot. With the Greek philosophy, they start to divide this concept of love into three main categories, and they wanted to tell the people there are different kinds of love, and they wanted to put the eros in one side, where it's a lot of deep, intense affections and physical way of dealing with it. It's incarnated concept of feelings. And at the same time, they wanted to think of another way of thinking of love, and they start to talk about the family ties and the friendship and the real care for one another, and they wanted to put it in this concept of philia. And then they wanted to put something else where you said about sacrifice and Jesus dying on the cross, and just to give someone everything you have, and they wanted to put it in the word agape, where it's unconditioning love is there. So now, with the Greek philosophy, they wanted to put it in categories like this. And what is this for us? What is this for me now? Can we really separate the three? It's a question for you now. Can I separate in my relationship to someone the three? And then I would say, no, now I will choose this icon. And then in your computer, then you go to the icon of Eros, and then you say, okay, this is love. You cannot actually separate a human being. Then you will find yourself having a little bit of everything in a kind of holistic approach of love. So that means that you don't think like Eros is totally wrong, because we need to incarnate our meanings of love in a tangible way. But at the same time, this is not the only kind of love. This is not the focus that love will be there. So what is love then? Yes, we know we can talk about Eros, Philia, and Agape, and we feel like, okay, we gave you a good illustration of love. I don't feel like it, as I don't test it. So now I need to find something else to bring this concept of love to being. And that's the only thing I start to think of. I start to think of something completely different. You know what? I come up with another question that's completely different than this meaning or what is love. And I said to myself, why God created man by himself, and then he created a woman by herself? Why? And I know that a lot of people, they start to talk about different things, and you may, but maybe you can tell me as well, why? Why God created man and then he created a woman? Can you tell me? Huh? Yes? Huh? Man was lonely, so God wanted to create for him someone to entertain him. Is that so? Oh, if I were a woman, I wouldn't accept that. So, I'm sorry, sorry to say that, but why? Why do you think? Yes, please.
To give him someone to love.
To give him someone to love? Yeah? Okay. Yes?
There's a Bible verse that says, when two or more are gathered in my name, I will be in their midst. So God, in a way, he created a man for a woman and a woman for a man, for them to be in one accord, just like we should be in one accord with God.
So it was from the beginning that God wanted to be in their midst. Good. So I have a theory here. Maybe you can listen to it. Maybe it will give you a little explanation of this. The relationship between God and his image. And his image here is the fullness of humanity. It's not a man, it's not a woman. Because in the book of Genesis, chapter 1, if you read in verse 26, God said, let us create man, let us create human beings on our image and likeness. then the verse after, 27, he said, then God created human beings. On his image, he created them, man and a woman. So the vision of God from the beginning, that he wanted to create a man and a woman, he wanted to create his image on human beings. And these human beings are equally full in the relationship with him. So that's why no one would claim that I have the first relationship and you are secondary in the relationship with God. So look at that. God is so wise. So imagine God now. He's taking this dust and he's taking this mold and he breathed into, and then what he got? He got a human being, a man that he will do what? He will breathe in. And he will breathe in what? The breath of God. He will breathe in the breath of God. And this is actively working on us till now. And God, with a great energy of love, He's breathing in to that creation. But do you think that when He wanted to create a woman, then he wanted to create a secondary creature? He just said, okay, now you've got the first relationship, you and me, you have a full relationship and the fullness of humanity in you with my breath. Then he said to him, okay, now it's not your business. Put you to sleep. You stay away. Look at that. Stay away. And he put him to sleep. And out of him, with the same power, Eve is coming up. And Eve has the same feeling, the fullness of humanity in the relationship, the direct relationship with God Himself. So now here, she has a full capacity of the relationship between her alone with God and Adam with the full capacity of him alone with God. And because God wanted to put them together, He just created this link between them, so He got her out of His rib. But still, the fullness of humanity was fully giving to both of them at the same capacity. So no one would be secondary, and no one in the relationship would be secondary. So that means the love actually that we have received from the inner capacity and the inner being, the image of God. It's something that's embedded in us with the love of God that it is giving to us through His breath. Do you breathe now? Do you know that you breathe? Do you breathe or not? Are you conscious of your breath? So every time you breathe in, you feel what? You receive the yes, oxygen, but in a spiritual way. We'll come to Eros later. The oxygen will come later. So we'll come to Eros later. But now we started with the breath of God in you. So imagine that every time you breathe in, you breathe what? The breath of God. The power of love that's giving to you in your own nature. So imagine someone is not able to breathe, is dead. And that means someone is not able to love, is also dead. So here you need to see that the power of love in you is not something that you will receive from someone else. Look at here. You are not receiving the power of love. You're not receiving love from someone else. You're receiving love from your own nature, in your own creation, with the power of God that He breathed in you, not from another one. And that's why God made it clear that He created Adam by himself with the full capacity of humanity, and then He took Eve as well with the full capacity of humanity separately, because this is the power of love, that when you are able to make it within you as your own creation, it becomes something different, how to look at the other source of life and source of love. And that's why I just wanted to just introduce to you another concept. That's no one ever will be able to give you love. No one ever is the source of love for another human being. No one. It's not existing. But we share love with one another. We share love, but no one is the source of love. And that means that you need to understand what is your source of love. And this source of love will make it something completely different than when we say, like, we share love with someone. Yes, you can care about someone. You have, but who gave you this source? And that is a key point that you need to understand. Some of you might think that this person is just, I'm so having intense affections for this person. All right. So what about? So let's see this intense affection, what happens to us. We take some. No, with this cup. We can imagine that. I meet someone which I think I have a strong affections with. Very intense. I can't keep my eyes away from that person. It's very intense. But what happened is like that. He looks at me. I look at him. I'm shy a little bit, but I look at him. And I look at him. And it goes like this way. He will smile. I will smile. Another thing? Flowers. He gives me flowers. I smile when he gives me the flowers. And maybe I text him, he texts me. And it's very intense. And then you call it love. Of course, this is according to the dictionary. It's love. You call it really attraction. It's very strong attraction. So what about? What about? Then he wants something, and you want something. But what about that? That's what is the physical way of looking at things. I need. That goes into a circle, and this circle of needs, it's my own personal needs. If the other person cannot fulfill it, then it doesn't work. So I give you a little bit of analogy with this. So I gave him a smile, and he doesn't answer back. Shame on him, right? I text. He doesn't answer. It's bad. See what you feel now? Angry. You're angry. Yes, because he doesn't answer me. I'm getting angry. So where is this love then? Where it went? Where these beautiful affections went? Where these beautiful great feelings of the flowers, and it disappeared. Where is it? But I became angry. You know why I became angry? Because of my ego, my person, my needs. And this is what in the Greek philosophy, they start to talk about eros. They start to talk about here that here I need for myself, I need this tangibility of my needs, and that means that if it's not fulfilled, then what is it? With the great intense affections, here, what is it? Where it's going? And then here you start to have something really nice and coming in. The philia will come in this relationship. We will tell you, okay, we can just communicate in a more wise way. There are some reasons, but it's still, you start to go in and say like, okay, maybe I will try to understand. Maybe he was sad, he was wrong, he was and then you say, okay, I send again. And he doesn't answer. Then he is not right. And maybe if you will give a little bit, one drop, but it's not enough for me. What's enough is enough. What is enough then here. Then suddenly you start to give and give and give and give and give, and then you're empty. What is here this kind of love looks like? A person who is empty, who poured himself, herself all the way. I wanted to have all my affections to that person. I poured everything to that one. What do you think this person would do?
Heartbroken.
Heartbroken. That's why a lot of heartbrokenness. It's a lot of people who have this broken hearts.
Give up.
Gave up. So what are you going to do then? I'm empty? Exactly. You know what you do? You start to fish for love. You start to fish for it, search for it. You start to search for someone to give you the same kind of meaning, the same kind of feeling. And you, in your own mind, you start to think of what? What is this? I think that someone else could replace that one, and then you will have a replacement that will do the same thing. And maybe it would happen the same thing again and again. Then you start to search for that love, fishing for love. And then you try to put on yourself whatever you want. And then sometimes we make another trick. You know what? We go and buy love from the big supermarket of love. Do you know how to pay that?
How much?
This payment would be coming out of your own person. You start to put a mask, and this mask that you put to please the others, to attract them, to ask these people, okay, I can be that person that you wanted. It's not me, the person I am. So you start to put a mask on you, and you pay from your own self. And suddenly you find yourself, you're doing things that you don't like to do, but you have to do. I give you an example. Who put the beauty code on earth, on this universe? Who put the beauty code? Who makes a person beautiful and another one is not? Who makes it?
We do.
Yes. Who makes a person looks beautiful, and then in the eyes of the society would say, okay, now this kind of people would look beautiful. If you study that, you will find that a lot of beauty codes has been developed through decades. Like, for example, if you look at the pictures in the early 90s, and you see how the women looked like, and this is the style of beauty. And then it developed, and then in a while they put the skirt up, and after a while they put the skirt down, And then they put the pants, and the pants become stretched, and then maybe it's a little bit wider, a little bit smaller, and then we cut the hair. No, we have the hair long, and every day there is a new code to make a beautiful person. And who puts the beauty code? Economic. It's the economy. It's the economy. It's a lot of companies that they buy you because of this very same, I want to buy love. I want to be attractive to the other people. And it ended up, you are in there. What do you think a good solution for that person?
Be yourself.
Be yourself. How? How? I want as well as a person, as a human being, I want these feelings. I need it. Eros is not just disappearing from my life. It's there. And that means that you need to have another atmosphere, another concept of love. So a solution here would not come from that person, and would not come from a similar person, would not come from a human being. A solution here would come from something else. I go back to my creation. I go back to the beginning. The beginning. And the beginning is that I am in a strong relationship with the source of love. He breathed into me with the source of strong fullness of love. And that's why I brought for you this jar of water. What is water? What's the taste of water? It's like the taste of love, isn't it? Nothing. Oh, nothing. What's the taste of water? It is water. It is refreshing. It is what?
H2O.
H2O. Okay? It's the eros. But the taste of it, the effect of it. So here, Jesus said something very beautiful. I want you to look back to it. I am the living water. He is the living water. And that's why our relationship with Him will bring me to another concept, to another level that will enable me to understand the concept of love and at the same time make it much more. So imagine if I have a relationship with Christ and I am beside Him like this, what happens there? I'm still empty? Yes, I'm here. And then you're empty. And that's a very hard thing to do, because a lot of us, we're saying, oh, we come to church and we pray, but we're not happy, we're not joyful, we don't feel it. But I tell you, look, there is something more that you need to do. I want you to be in Christ. You know, Christ said about this relationship, because He breathed into us from the beginning. He created us in His image. He wanted us in Him, and He is in us. And this is the perfect relation. So, let us put ourselves in Christ. Okay? Let us see what will happen. Oh. We are there, but we are floating. Look. It's floating, but it's still empty. You're empty. And that's why it's not a matter of just surrounding yourself with a lot of the shape or how it looks like, the surface type. This doesn't work. And that's why a lot of us, as soon as something happens to us, we make noise. It's painful. It's empty. And you need to do something else. You need to bring all your being to that concept of great love that you have received from the beginning, the source of love, and then you say, okay, I am in Him and He is in me. then humble yourself before the Lord. Make it a little bit more effort. Open yourself that He will be in there. And then you are in Christ and Christ is in you. So can you tell me what happened to this cup? Do you see it? In Him, you're bigger. Outside of Him, you're smaller. Do you see the difference? Outside, you're small. Inside, you're big. You see that? It's magic, it's not magic. When you are in Him, then you are much more. And what is more in you? That you believe that He is the source of love in you, and then you become more. And then when you meet someone, what are you going to give? Are you going to give him from the main source? Okay, I will fill you up, and I would never be empty. And this is the real meaning that you need to understand. That's why I said, no one is the source of love for you. But we need to understand that this source of love is much more than anyone. And this is what we call it agape. This is status. This is the status that you call, this is the agape love. Because you are filled from Him, and no one else can fill you up. No one ever. But it happens when you are there, and it happens someone that you meet, and if this person also is in there, what a great love is there. And then here you start to incarnate the love that you have from the real source of love, and you incarnate it in your own life. And this kind of incarnation, it will not be merely this eros concept, it will be the incarnation of the agape in a physical way, in a way that you will enjoy the tangibility. God doesn't want us to lose the tangibility or the body. And that's why if you look at this inside, if you look at this when you are inside, you are still the same. You're not dissolved. You're a human being still. You are still having this tangibility. And that's why this source of love in you, that it is filling you, is giving you the greatness of love. And that's why, if you just only understand that point, that no one in the whole earth would be the source of love. Only one is the source of love. When you are able to put yourself in Him, and He is in you, He will fill you, and no one will be able to make you empty. No one will take away everything from you, because you are filled with that great love that you are created with. Then here you can share it. And that means if you wanted to share it with your family, then it's becoming the philia, but you share the love of God. You share the fullness of your humanity. You share something that is there in your nature. It is not something that is coming from another person. And that's the difference. And if you meet someone in the future, not in your age now because you're still too young for that, because then when you meet someone, then you would be able to understand this person, this other person is not the source of love. He will never be able to fulfill everything that I have. The fulfillment of my real humanity is in Him, God Himself, who gave me this great humanity. And that means that, yes, if I am able to meet with this other person, if he gives me or not, then I'm not crushed. I can still forgive. And that's why the agape love is the ability to forgive. It's unconditioning. You are there or not, it's still love. And that means that the tangibility of the expression of the agape is not actually subjected to the addition, adding more and more every day. It is not adding lots of things that you need to do. It's not the enterprises. It's not the enterprises of taking. It's not the eros anymore. It's much more, because you start to feel much more, because you are much bigger here. Look, stability will give you. With the whole world will hit you, you're stable, because you are in there. So if you ask me about this concept of love, I would say like something completely different. Maybe all what you have said now in the beginning is great, but there is another narrative. There is another narrative of the story of love. And this narrative of the story of love, unfortunately, because of the surrounding that you live in, it distorted the real meaning of love. And the real meaning of love is here. You are there. And every time you breathe in, you're actively reminded with the great love of God in you that fills you up and makes you feel much more. And this much more that you are in Him and He is in you, then you start to share. Because you are full, you can share. But if you are empty, if you are outside, you're empty, how can you share something? Then you strive to get. You strive to get. And you know this kind of striving to get, and that's why you get angry, you get annoyed, you get disappointed, because you cannot get. But if you are full, you walk in serenity, you walk in life, and you are filled, satisfied, and walking like a queen, that you are giving, and who's ever wanted to receive, you give from the pure meaning of love that's from God Himself. And that's what I wanted to tell you. That's my meaning of love. You are in Him and He is in you, then you understand the meaning of agape. And then you share the philia, and in a time, then you share a pure kind of the incarnation of the agape in a tangible way. You may call it part of the eros, but still, it's not the fullness of this concept of eros. Thank you so much, and I hope that you understand that point.